The DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ about the show. Please subscribe.
It is 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday night. Do you know where DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. Yes, it is the DJ Roundtable. And as always, I'm surrounded by some great DJs. We got New York covered. We got Georgia via Wisconsin. We got Ohio, of course, Illinois. We do have also Wisconsin fully covered, but you can't see him right now. He's having a little technical difficulties. And we have other DJs I'm sure are going to be in shortly. We have DJs from the West Coast as well as the East Coast, North, South, East, West. We try to cover every area. And we want to thank you for being here tonight and enjoying yourselves. Mikey Mike wants to know where your pizza's at. Yeah, it's pizza. Your pizza's at your pizza place, a pizza joint, the guy with the sweet sauce. Was it Gary's or whatever? Well, you got to come here for it. I can't bring it to you. Come on now, man. That's like a 12-hour trip. You know, that pizza would be really dead cold. But anyways, want to thank you all for watching here on Twitch. If you are here on Twitch live, make sure that you, I guess Brantley's going to come back in. Again, he's having a little difficulties. Make sure that if you haven't done so already, follow the channel. Make sure you follow everything that's going on here on Twitch. And if you're over on YouTube, do me a favor, help me slay that mean beast, always known as the YouTube algorithm, and not be part of the 77.4% of people watching and not subscribing. It's free. It is free. So if you guys, want to learn stuff and know stuff and be in the know, join. Free over on YouTube. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, like Chris likes to do, the thumbs up. Always love the thumbs up. And always like from you guys out there. I see J-Rod. I see Jared. I see Mike. Who else is in the chat? Go ahead and say hi. Hopefully we got some more great DJs there. Also want to thank you all for new subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. If you want to hear something, you want to know something, make sure you put it down in comments here. Kevin will send you a free jar of mayonnaise from Ohio because he loves mayonnaise so much. Ooh. He will send you a free jar of mayonnaise. Right, Kevin? No, just kidding. Kevin's probably like, what? So, yes. What's going on? It's always great to see you guys and great to hear from you guys and always great to have everyone here. As always, I have to say that it's been an interesting week. Hellman's Mayo, Mike, that's your favorite. New Picard, which is Kevin. He probably, I think he likes what's the tangy mayonnaise, or actually salad dressing, as it says on the outside of the jar, Miracle Whip. That's what
salad dressing.
That's what it says. It said salad dressing on the outside of it. Miracle Whip.
Salad dressing.
You know what?
Duke's
what
Mayo,
do I know? I'm
number one. Duke's Mayo.
I don't eat that stuff, so you guys can have all the mayonnaise you want. Kevin said Miracle Whip or mayo. I'm neither, so I'm camp neither. No Miracle Whip or mayo for me. You guys can have it. You guys can keep it. Remember what flavor you guys want, or if you want to call it wasabi, I'm not wasabi, call it aioli, add wasabi to it, add onions to it, add whatever you want to add to your mayonnaise. That's up to you. But you want to make an aioli? Great. Kevin says, great on pizza. Again, you're the same line of people who put ranch dressing on pizza. Kevin, yeah. No. Well, how about smash burgers? Nope, I don't. No mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise. No, not for me. Thank you anyways. You guys can keep it. Put it on whatever you want, except please don't put it on hot dogs. Please. I know Kevin likes to do that, or put coleslaw on hot dogs. As a Chicagoan, I just cringe. I see that. And I think Chris will probably cringe too. He's not in New York City. He's close enough that he knows what goes good on a good hot dog. I'm sure he probably likes sauerkraut.
Goes good on a hot dog.
Go to the baseball field. They'll teach you right.
Smash. Oh no, smash burgers are great. Just that again, no mayonnaise for me on them. Uh,
I don't
so
mind mayo.
DJ Bradley is back and wanted to touch the first topic of the night, so we can go through things here and we'll see who else comes into the show. Hopefully, his internet is okay. The squirrels that were hanging out on the cable outside his house, they jumped off. So, and then Jared saw you at Midwest Live, DJ Live. So there you go. You get to hang out with Brentley, and hopefully you guys had some fun there. I heard that it was an exciting time for people who are there. And also, if you guys got a chance, go ahead.
It was fun. It was really a good learning experience. And the only thing that I think this year, unlike other years, was lacking, and Sean, you may be able to attest to this as well, having been there previously, is they didn't have the big DJ show on Sunday night. Instead, they had, the spinoff has traditionally been on Sunday night, and them trying to changing it and playing with it the last couple of years. Really feels to me like they're taking away something from the actual conference itself, like the camaraderie of, hey, we've all made it here at Sunday night, let's do something together, and then the next 2 days we're going to go learn. So there's that. And there wasn't enough on sales this year. It was very non-sales focused in all of the seminars. It was more definitely hands-on DJ stuff. From mixing to lighting, like Both Lighting had their own seminar for the day. And did I buy more lights? Yes, I'm an idiot. But, you do not bring your credit card to a DJ conference under any circumstances. Yeah, I got...
Glad I don't.
I've got chroma cannons. I've got 20 more S6 uplights. I've got a box of 8 360 tubes, and they can either all go to record box lighting, or I can program onto the controller, whichever one I choose. So that's my next step next week. Yeah. But that was the only things that my takeaways outside of, what I felt like it was missing. On the flip side of it, there were so many good speakers that you almost didn't really need to hear anything about sales. It just would have been with, like Mike Walters talking about being a better MC, to Digital Dave giving all of his, this is what I do. We're going to blaze through this in 40 minutes, but these are all my hacks, shortcuts, and tricks I use for like AI, posting, music prep, the whole 9 yards. There was a lot to take in. And they had, mentor pods, roundtables where you, just like we talk here, they put all these, different DJs looking to talk about one topic and do on a table. And I just happened to be at the same group both days that were all looking about marketing, SEO, and social media. So that was a big part of my whole curriculum for the week. Well, a couple days I was there. And they actually did one thing which I was really appreciative of. They also, in addition to doing the ladies' night, so all the lady DJs got a night of their own, they did it off-site at one of the cooler clubs in the downtown or Fiserv, Deer District, Trinity. So right there, it was a really cool night. But definitely some things maybe they should change for next year. Like one thing I've always wondered, why don't they have, put a bunch of tables in a room, put a bunch of guys, like, hey, let's all throw our decks down there and see how we mix from the backside. What tricks are you using? How are you making this transition? You're a record box DJ. Well, you're a Serato DJ. There's something that could be, and I forgot virtual DJ. Sorry, I don't think about it because it's just not in my radar, not to be insulting to anybody. But I'm a record box DJ. I know Serato's out there, and I forget about VDJ. But it'd be nice to be able to see like how other record box DJs do things, or look at the backside at hands, what they're doing on their deck, from transitions to what buttons they're using and how they're cutting each transition out. That would be something that would be, I think, help every DJ on the market to see a DJ better than themselves mixing, but how they're actually doing it. like hands-on watching them do it. But that's my takeaways from it all. It's a great conference, so don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying anything because I truly love going to Midwest DJs Live. It's probably one of the best conferences I've been to be brutally honest.
So did you get a chance to go down the road? I want to say Monday night was BSR had a meeting. He had a basically a DJ meetup right down the street.
I didn't actually. I had so much work to catch up on that as soon as the conferences were done for the day, I just kind of got a bunch of went to dinner, got a bunch of work done, went to a record store, and called it a night. And went to the ladies' night at Trinity, then called it a night because I really didn't want to stay out late and waste basically the money I was putting out by staying out, not being attentive at any of the seminars, being hungover. It's definitely, if you're going to spend the money, and I think it was $400 plus my hotel room, plus transportation, plus all my meals, it's around $1,000 investment to better myself. And after watching a couple of the DJs in the company I worked for at Ever After one of them squandered Mobile Entertainment Expo. And I kind of squandered it because I got really drunk the first night I was there, but still went to all the seminars. Could I have been in better shape for those seminars? 100%. Did I make sure I took my notes so I could revert back to them? Of course. So even though I didn't get everything on the spot out of it, I could go back and read it. And I actually found the notebook as I was going through my notebooks of other seminars. It's behind me now, so I can review it again as I start to go into this wedding season. But the partying thing, there went last year with Ever After, 2 DJs came and they spent the entire day, both days of it all, drinking, smoking, and playing Xbox in their hotel room. They blew off over half the seminars. I mean, day 2, like Sunday into Monday, they got so drunk Sunday night that they didn't even make it out of their hotel room until like 11:30 noon at lunch. You've just missed.
That's a shame because that's a lot of money wasted. But Brian had a DJ meetup with DJs basically on the Monday night, the first night of Midwest DJ Live, and it was basically just people to come, chill, talk shop. It was not like, hey, let's see how blasted we can get here. It was, hey, come and join, talk to other DJs, share ideas and stuff like that. Have a nice, cool, chill moment. And that's one of the things I think maybe next year, if he does that again, I definitely would say for you to go do that. Meet Brian there. Brian's a cool guy.
I know. We've met. In fact, last Midwest DJs Live, we were all smoking by the side of the Hyatt, and we kept getting bothered by every panhandler you could think of asking for smokes and change for the entirety of myself, my former business partner Brent, and a few other DJs along with Brian out there trying to have a cigarette and to talk, and you just couldn't get away from it. So he actually came in to the hotel with us all, and we brought him upstairs, and he was not partying, but hanging out in the DJ show, but it was so loud you can't talk up there.
The 2 things with Brian, and again, I've been with Brian, I hung with Brian plenty of times. Like myself, he does not drink. He forgoes alcohol. He'll drink pop. He'll drink water. He'll drink, normal stuff. No adult beverages. And the other thing is that he does smoke cigarettes. He does smoke. So he'll go out and take periodic breaks and take a smoke break. So that's one of the things, if you guys get a chance to, make sure you follow Brian S. Red or Brian Red on Facebook. Or on Instagram or any of his social media posts. His Facebook he's more active on. That's the one he really goes to. That's what he gravitates toward. And he could tell you when he's having meetups, and he still has meetups once a month in the Milwaukee area because he's in Milwaukee. So if you're looking for something to do, you want to follow him. He has a meetup. Usually they have a bar or a restaurant, and it's all DJs to come there, not to drink. Again, if you want to have an adult beverage or two, that's up to you. But it's there for you to talk and network and be socialized with other, because sometimes some of the DJ expos, they have these after parties that are just so loud you can't really sit back, relax, and just chat with another DJ. And that's one of the cool things. If you go to the one in New Jersey, they do have the DJ NTV chill room, which is a lower volume place. Usually a couple of the DJs you see on one of the shows there, usually spinning some music, more background than foreground. and you can chill, relax, and talk. And that's what Brian wants to have in Milwaukee. Have that place. No DJ is there mixing. You know, they want you sit back, relax, whoever music's on, the music system or whoever's in the restaurant or bar, relax, chill. It's usually a restaurant or bar that's not busy on Monday night. Get something to eat, relax, have a cup of coffee or whatever you want to drink, and just talk to other DJs. And that's the other cool thing too. Make sure you do that. I see a lot of people here talking, and I see a first-time chat. Hey, welcome to the DJ Roundtable. And then Jared said that he did see you, Brentley. He didn't recognize you at first. He couldn't put two and two together to know who you were. And it was the first time he attended the show. And then he said, controller you must have. He said the Evolve 70s were impressive in the main room. Crossfire, he's on vacation. Hey, welcome for checking in. He'll be here for a few minutes tuning in. Hey, welcome, Crossfire. Always good to see you, sir. And always great. He got a chance to meet Brian at DJX last year. Very knowledgeable. Yes, Brian is very knowledgeable. He is a great guy. I talk to him all the time. Adrian E. Good evening. Oh, he said, good evening, kids. Oh, man. Adrian, you're saying you're older than us or what? Mikey Mike says, Brian is more than a DJ. This is very true. He is a he's a music savant. I mean, he has so much knowledge in music, it's not even funny. The other big thing also with everything going on, we have a couple other channels you can talk about. First thing first, on Monday night, if you haven't seen it already, DJ Cool Thing, he has his Time to Spin on his show. And then over on tomorrow afternoon, well, actually tomorrow night, he has it set to drop on YouTube. Over on the DJ Biz School. I keep going to screw up people's names. DJ Biz School. Yep. I even have it written down here. And then on Thursday nights, you also have Cue It Up with Mikey Mike. So Mikey Mike, and you have Dwayne Dixon from this show. He has his thing. They do a live on YouTube. So the thing is that, if you get a chance, you check out those other channels. Again, tomorrow night on Sean's channel over on YouTube, he releases the video. It's about 15 to 20 to 30-minute video, depending on what the topic is that week. He talks about, he doesn't have guests on, but gives you information to help grow your business. And it's always interesting behind-the-scenes stuff. You guys kind of know some stuff. We always communicate us, and we always talk about stuff. And it's always interesting to hear what he's going to have as topics. I'm not going to break what he's going to give because it's his show. Dwayne also has some great topics. Him and Mikey Mike, they had a great long conversation last week. Look forward to this week as well. And also, don't forget, again, like for Hunter over there, he's talking on Monday nights. So make sure you go over and follow him. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about the topic for tonight after we got all that done. And this is going to go to business. And this is a question for you guys. And the question is this: how to book more gigs and get higher paying clients. Tips on networking and marketing. So when you talk to vendors, other vendors, people at, customers at wedding shows, or if you talk to venue managers, especially at a more expensive venue, and talk to them about getting on preferred vendors lists, how do you tap into that market, which people have a little bit more money to spend and want to, spend that money? So I'm going to go first because this way it gives me everyone time to think about this. Couple things that when we talk to clientele is we always are upfront with our pricing, and that's one of the things I am very, very forward with, so people can see what we start at with pricing. So this way it lessens the likelihood of people looking for a lesser expensive DJ than us. The other thing also is that when you're talking to people, try and get a sense of idea what they're looking for and what the sense of what they want to have. You need to have the equipment and the availability to do what they want. Now, targeting clients, there's always zip codes or areas that have more affluent customers. And that's where wedding shows or getting into venues in those areas that has that clientele is important. Making a phone call to a venue, asking questions, talking to a venue manager, and especially a place that you're going to go to or you have been at, and ask them, hey, how do I get on preferred vendor lists? Preferred vendor lists at places can help you gain more business and go for certain clientele. Because if you are looking to be a preferred vendor at a place that, more bargain priced, that's a clientele you run into. If you're a preferred vendor at a place that's more affluent, people don't mind spending the money there. It's more expensive per plate. You want to be at those places. You don't want to be a preferred vendor everywhere. You want to be a preferred vendor at places that you feel it's aligned with your business. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much to charge. You should be charging X or charging Y. You should be charging more than enough to cover your costs and making money. Now, does that mean you make profit? Hopefully you do make profit, and that's knowing your costs of everything before you walk out the door. But the big thing is that when you look at clientele and you're talking to clientele, you need to also have an understanding of the clientele you're going for is going to be more demanding. They're going to ask for things and assume for things. So when you talk to a client, like from my area, when I worked in Highland Park or in Killdeer, or if I go to Northbrook, or I go to Oakbrook, or some parts of Orland Park, the clientele in those venues in those areas are more demanding. They expect more. They don't mind paying the money, but you also got to deliver on that, and you have to deliver on quality. That means a good, clean look. That means a good, clean sound, and performing and making sure you not only meet their expectation, but you exceed it. And if you exceed it when they're at the country club, they're playing golf. Hey, how was that wedding you went to? Oh, let me tell you, it was fantastic. The people we had were great. They will talk to a person or two. Now, the other part is, again, getting into the venue that you've been to and talking to the venue manager, saying, what do I need to do to become part of your preferred vendor list? Some places will say, okay, you need to be here so many times. Some places will say, hey, we got to work with you at least one more time. Or a place may be like, wow, you're the best. We're going to put you on there. Now, here's where I pause. If a place is looking for money back on that, because some venues, I've heard places that want you to pay to be part of a preferred vendor, you have to look at it. Is that a wise investment? And is that money, is advertisement money, is that money going to get you more down the road? And that's something you have to decide for yourself. I would never want to pay a facility fee to be a preferred vendor if I was not getting enough business back. Made that very clear. If I'm paying a fee to a facility, it's advertisement. How does the advertisement work? Is that advertisement mean that I'm exclusively only DJ, or am I in a pool of DJs? Can they pull any DJ they want to off the street, or only from this pool? So there's questions to ask, and then you have to make an informed decision on that. So that's a couple of things right there that when I look at venues, when I try to get preferred vendor status, and when Tracy and I are at somewhere, and if I'm going for clientele, which we always try to do, clientele who don't mind spending money, because you shouldn't be cheap. You want to make sure that the clientele you're going after, now you can support them, but also how to get in there. It's always a little cracks to get your little foot in to these doors. But wedding shows, if you look at wedding shows in certain areas, that's another way to get in there. And you get into those more affluent areas, sometimes those smaller wedding shows in very expensive areas can give you open up doors to certain places. So I'm going to go over to Brentley. I know you're preferred vendor at one of the bigger venues there in La Crosse. And by the way, Code Blue Cam. That is always La Crosse's staple right there. But now that you're preferred vendor there at like Glenwood Cross's like more premium facilities, premium venues, how do you come across clientele there and talk to them and help them make informed decisions on hiring you as a DJ?
Well, part and parcel, it's not just being on one preferred list. It's not, because one preferred list is not going to make or break anyone. Will
No.
it be helpful? Yes. When it comes to, and I don't want this is not kind of come off arrogant or cocky, but when it comes to lacrosse, I'm on the preferred list for every premium venue in this market, and then some. My preferred lists go all the way up to the Twin Cities and Pepin, Wisconsin, all the way to the other side of the state to Allenton and the Gardens Wedding Center. And the reason I got to that point was being able to put forth a product that every one of these venues took notice. And they say you do things a step or two above anyone else close to you. Once you get to that point, and if you're wondering how to get on these lists, you need to make sure every aspect of your wedding game is absolutely perfect every time. There is no failing. There is no making a mistake. You are not getting paid to make that mistake. You are getting paid to be absolutely flawless, along with being able to brown nose and kiss that butt super well, and holding hands with the right people that you're working with. So when it comes to venues, if they are not running the show for that day, like there's a coordinator separate from the venue, of course I'm cordial and loving to the venue, but I'm holding that coordinator's hand the whole day. You tell me what you need me to do, and when you need me to do it, I jump. Just like Danica, the one time I worked with her and saved the entire day for that wedding. She still sends me referrals occasionally when she's up this way. That was 6 years ago. So once you've made that impression on every one of the venues and vendors around you, being on the preferred list is nothing. So paying to get on one is, in my shoes, by far not a worthwhile transaction. Do I have certain financial deals worked out with certain venues based on what they're charging their couples for volume, more volume than price? Yes. And I won't deny it in any way, shape, or form. However, and this was on the DJ TV News for their episode about when to raise your prices. Yeah, I could be charging $3,000 a wedding and only do $35 a year and be very happy. But would my reach to his new, clientele and couples be as great? So I'm much happier staying, and I'm actually thinking about rolling my prices back like $100 or so. But that's another conversation for another, long story. But if I wasn't able to, if you can't, do the job at such a high level of expectations, you shouldn't be on those preferred lists. And by getting there, the venues, I will say 75% of all of the weddings I book are from the preferred lists and referrals from venues or their past couples. It's a big win-win situation, because not only are couples that have been at that venue testifying that it was great, the venue is saying so, and the other vendors that you work with. So once holding hands with each one of those vendors, by the end of the day when they're leaving, they want to work with you again. It is such, and if any venue or vendor says it to you, oh God, thank God it's you, when you walk in the door, that's what you should be striving for.
And that's one of the things also, again, having multiple vendors, multiple venues that your preferred vendor at is an important strike. Having a relationship with those people and building those relationships with key people at those venues and also key vendors, photographers, videographers, having that network of people, as well as if you go into outside coordinators. If you run into a Danica, if you run into some of the other coordinators out there that deal with more prestige customers who have more money, then you can, say, okay, fine, great. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to that one. I'm going to build a relationship with them. You treat them with respect.
Oh, yeah.
You work with them. And that's a key thing right there, is working with those people. And you can find out fairly quickly where people are at, what people are doing. And, it's one of the things that you as a DJ should always be looking at. Again, as a business owner, how can you expand your business? How can you make more contacts?
You know what? And here's my little DJ tip of the day. I don't know how many people do it or don't on their company websites. Make a preferred vendors page. I swear to God, That page alone has gotten me more hits to my website than anything else, because not only are they looking at you themselves, but if you're not available for one, you're willing to lead them to the way to other DJs. But these are the places that I like to work and the people I like to work with. Why is that? And it also helps because now you're advertising all the vendors that you like to work with on your site. They're happy to see it, and just to get the added little bonus, like, oh wow, this DJ actually cares and wants to work with us too. There's your tip for the day, but it does help immensely on your website.
Oh yes, and that's all goes back to SEO too. That helps with traffic coming in. And talk about SEO, I'm going to go to the person who is teaching classes on that and has a DJ Biz School and is teaching you how to run your business more. I'm going to go to Sean over there in Georgia. Sean, how do you build yourself to get more, to attract more of those clients that don't have the, are not the, basically they're very, they can't afford you. They can't afford what you can do. Money's no object. Those people who have the deeper pockets, how do you get to them?
Yeah, so I think you and Brettly nailed it amazing to start with. So I'll go kind of a different route of trying to obtain those contacts or those clients. Present yourself as that type of performer, as that type of business. If you are showing on your social media feeds, on your website, you doing weddings in somebody's backyard pole barn, and it does not look like a high-class wedding, when those high-class couples come in and they see that, well, this guy's doing backyard, low-class events, they're going to pass on you because they don't think you're doing those high-end events, and they might not think you're going to fit that vibe. So you want to put out in your website, in your marketing, everywhere, you want to put out to market to those higher class weddings. So you want your absolute best setups in the most fancy venues. You want to showcase those high-end looking events because that's going to showcase you in that perspective, which is going to help you get those clients, and it's going to match with what they're looking for. So I think that's one of the biggest ones that hasn't been touched on by the two of you yet.
Presentation is
yourself.
Everything.
Yes.
And
100%.
having confidence in what you're doing.
And knowing your business, knowing that you're going to go in there, you're going to knock it out of the park. And I know you said the higher end clients could be more demanding. I sometimes actually think it's the complete opposite. I think it's the tire kickers, the ones who you're already cutting a deal to, or they're trying to get things for the absolute cheapest, that are some of the hardest, because for them to go and drop, for us, our basic package, to drop $2,000 on a wedding DJ, that might be a month's worth of work for them. That seems like a large amount of money to them. So they are expecting everything under the sun for that amount of money. Where if I go and I book a high-end client, we just had one this past weekend. They flew in from California, very large budget. They were the easiest in the world to work with because they trusted us that they were hiring a professional who knew what we were going to do. They didn't sit and micromanage us. They didn't try to nickel and dime us for everything. I think sometimes those higher end clients can actually be the easier clients to work with versus the people where they think they're spending a god-awful amount on your service.
Again, the people who don't mind spending the money on that, that's the big thing. How do you get that money out of people? Even the people, again, that have they're kind of tighter budgets, how do you get more money out of them? How do you show that you're worth that money? They may say, okay, I'm throwing some generic numbers out there, so no one's saying, oh, well, you got to charge this, or I don't charge that much. Let's say they have a budget of $500 and you are $1,000 DJ. How do you get them from that $500 budget up to the $1,000? If you can showcase why there's a difference between you and DJ X, and then your quality, your product is much better than DJ X, that may get them and move them to go to the $1,000 DJ.
Honestly, most of the time, I'm not wasting my time on it. I could try upselling them and getting them to spend more than what they were comfortable with, but I really don't want to do that to somebody. And again, that's going to lead to them having extremely high expectations because, well, they're blowing 3 times their original budget on you. So I would rather book those clients where it's not an option for them, and that is who I'm going to target with my sales.
You also have to
So
understand, are you targeting the right clientele? Are you getting the right client? Crossfire says he charges more, so he gets less grief from customers. This is very true. Sometimes those customers who are reaching too far, like Sean was saying, that they can't afford you in the first place, and they're trying to grab you and reach for you, they start going, well, since I paid so much more money for you, I want X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and I want, I want ice water every 15 minutes or whatever the questions are. So it is, one of the things you have to look at, again, usually clienteles with higher budgets usually are a little more demanding, but sometimes people will see you as a more expensive DJ. So you need to cater for me. And you have to also tell them that expectation. I have no problem helping you and taking care of you, but I also draw a limit to places and say, okay, fine, great. I will work with you and I will help you, but I am not going to be there at your beck and call like a servant or at a restaurant, and I'm not serving you, beer or cheeseburgers or whatever all night. But I'm also not there. I'm there as your employee, but also there to advocate for you too. And that's the big thing is that how do you go about and work with those clientele and explain to them, what you're going to do for them and work with them. And that's a big thing. It's being confident in your business. I'm going to go over a cool thing, Hunter. Hunter, how do you market yourself more toward more expensive clientele?
Well, I don't really focus on the more expensive clientele. I mostly focus on whoever, I don't really focus on budget in terms of clientele. I go for the ones I can trust, the ones who are nice, the one who I basically go wherever I'm needed. So I use my social media, my business page on Facebook and Instagram, and I actually got two gigs from just my business page, mostly the more like charity events. I got one in October on the 18th, and I got one on the 24th, and I don't really focus on the higher end clientele since I'm not in that market. I'm mostly down south where money is like really, really tight right now. People can't afford 1,000 or more DJs, so they go for people like me who are more lower end that they can afford. And if they can't afford my prices, I always work with a price that they can afford, and I always work something out. As long as I get the gig, that's all that matters to me is I get the experience, I get to DJ for them, and I don't lose them as clients, and they can really see what I can really do. So I mainly use social media and my business cards.
Okay. Okay. And again, like before, it's one of the things you have to, again, targeting the right people for your business and who works for your business, who's your prime clientele. But you should also always look at how do you get the better, the more sweeter deal? How do you get the better money? Crossfire says, I won't tell a plumber how to do his job. I don't expect customers to tell me how to do mine. This is true. But the thing is that they may ask you, well, since you're doing this, can you do that? Can you do this? And that's the thing you have to decide, how much you want to bend over backwards from. Oh, well, hey, I'm doing this. Do I want to add that? Do I want to add additional items, whatever it is?
And another thing I do to get more gigs is I go and do word of mouth. I go around my church. I go around and I ask them, if they need a DJ to let me know, and I'll be happy to DJ for them. And I actually got a party coming up in November from my church.
See, and you always say that I'm always looking for gigs. That's the thing. You have to always be looking for gigs. I'm going to go to Nathan, DJ Fire, my other friend here in Illinois, in the Midwest, a couple hours south of me. How do you kind of market yourself there? Again, you're in farm country. How do you market yourself to get more expensive clientele? How to market yourself to get that premium clientele?
Well,
I have actually been talking to another friend about different, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Customers, basically. There is different kinds of customers in the DJ business. There is, you've got your high end, your people that money's no object. If you tell them $5,000, they're going to be like, I'll just sign a check or give you cash right now. There's other people that you tell them a price. You kind of tell them, hey, you get an all inclusive DJ package. You get, you know, this much. You want to add the uplights, that's an extra charge. You want to add, sparklers or low lying fog or not dancing on the clouds, or for some you DJs have the big CO2 stuff and charge extra for that. Then once they pick their package up and they realize, oh my gosh, now I'm up to $3,500, I'm gonna need some time to be able to pay you for all this. There's a lot of people that do that. They want all this, and then when you tell them the price, they're just like, wow. Now, I used to do a lot of DJing for the lower end stuff. I just done a prom, $500. I just found out they spent over $2,000 on the catering. So I feel like I should bump my price up, because I know if they can afford $2,000 on the catering, why can't they afford at least $1,000 for the DJ? I know these schools say their only budget is 500, but I feel like they only want to spend 500 on the DJ. Like, why would you, want to, spend more on food than your DJ? Which, not saying that I wouldn't give him a good. I didn't. I gave him a pretty good show for $500, but me and my other friend Bob, he's been saying, he's like, I could get $1,000 out of them every day, all day. And I was like, I don't see how. If you won't do it for $500, they're just going to go to the next person down and find someone cheaper, which they've had problems with. They've had problems with DJs, not showing up on time. They've had problems with DJs, not bringing, a decent show. Don't know what they're doing. Kind of making the kids mad, not playing what they want to hear. All that good stuff. But I am trying to, when I walk in to meet a school or a bride and groom or a customer potential, I basically just, I want them to look at me and be like, he looks like he knows what he's doing. I've looked at his pictures. I've looked at his videos, word of mouth. This guy said he was great. I needed to contact him. Other people have used him. He's booking a lot. It's hard to get him, catch a time where he's not booked somewhere else, which shows that, obviously if you're getting booked a lot, which either means that you're in a good area and a lot of people are getting married and there's other DJs that are booking up too, and they're just kind of going down the line, or you're a really good DJ and they want you specifically to DJ their special event, prom, homecoming, outdoor event.
I think, Nathan, that the key thing there, you were saying that what separated you from the other DJs is that the prior DJs they had problems with those DJs. They had DJs who, whatever, didn't show up, didn't play right music, had the right equipment. You can go on a whole entire list, whoever that list is. And I think that if you can show that you're different from those other vendors, those other people, you can then, get a more premium price. But schools are not, there's private academies, if you have private schools, usually they have more spending capital than a public school. So if you kind of look at that, what you want to market or target for, a Christian school, a Catholic school, a private school in the area, a private university, they're going to have more money to spend than a state or county or municipal one, because again, they have a tighter budget. So that might be another thing to look at, is if you're looking for school dances and go that school route, is look at your more premium places, where people pay more money to go to school there. And that's go ahead.
I kind of have been trying to think of ways to be able to up my price, but not up it a lot. I know my other friend that DJ, he just DJ'd a school and got 850 out of it. I mean, that's a little bit more money than what I'm making. And he said he gets $1,000 and he's only maybe less than an hour north of me. So, I mean, it just depends. I guess some schools have more money than others, or, you know, I want to be able to charge more. I feel like I'm worth more.
Well, you can always ask, and they
Just do
want
it.
to go to someone else who's cheaper. Again, they get what they pay for, and that's sometimes you have to do that. I'm going to go over to Dwayne, because Dwayne's a little newer in doing DJing, and Dwayne has a bunch of different events he's doing. When you are going for clientele, have you thought about going for more of a higher end, more expensive clientele? Have you tried to market in the area?
Yeah, as far as the weddings, like when you market on Wedding Wire and all those different kind of like Gig Salad and all that, where you can set your amount, your base amount and all that. I put my amounts up there higher. So that's one way that I can do it. And then also I just increase my prices. Because once I came in charging one thing, but once I start doing them and then I hear people talking and I'm hearing what the other DJs are charging, then I just bump up my price. And when they call, it's either I'll do it or decide not to do it. Or if they want to come low, then say, well, this is my price. If you want me to do it at that price, then this is what you're going to get. But if you want this, that, and the other, then I show value in my package and then leave it at that.
And that's a big thing, is showing value in package, but also quality is not cheap. And that's one of the things people, sometimes they equate that. They much rather go to a butcher and get they're going to have a special dinner. They're going to want to go for a special steak. They may not go to the regular grocery store and get the steaks in the plastic wrap that's out there in the cooler. If they have a butcher there, they want specialty steaks, they may ask for a special cut, or they go to a butcher shop that, hey, they have all prime steak. They all have higher end meat there. They're more expensive, but I can get a tomahawk steak and grill it on my grill versus going down to whatever grocery store you're nearby and picking up, steaks off the normal cooler. I can pick, 2-inch thick steaks versus this, a half-inch steak. So there is a difference between the two, and getting asking for that higher amount of money, but also giving the quality for it too. And people a lot of times will gravitate toward people spending more money. And Crossfire says nothing wrong with the big ask. This is very true. I also saw that Crossfire, you said a name that they call them in England. Is that the more expensive clientele, or is that the DJs, or I'm not sure which one you're trying to is that name. Mikey Mike says public schools really do work on a tight budget, depending on how many hours they want to pay for and what type of lighting they want. Yeah, but also those budgets, budgets they have X amount of dollars they're given, but it's also a lot of times it's discretionary with the principal. Also with the district heads, it's a lot of times discretionary. Customers in general. Oh, okay. Customers in general. Okay. If you haven't known already, DJ Crossfire, who was down in Alabama, he was on vacation, which we appreciate him tuning in on his vacation time. He's originally from the UK, and he's always a great guy to talk to. I had a pleasure to talk to him a few times. We got to get him on the show one of these days, because he's just an awesome dude. And he has a lot of great insight, being from Europe and also being here, and also a U.S. Army vet too. So cool all around. I'm going to go over to Chris in New York. And Chris, I know the area you're in New York. You're near a college. You have areas around you that have more affluent customers. How do you tap into that in your area? How do you tap into that area with more money so you can charge what you can charge for your services?
Well, I can't say I definitely in the upper wedding market myself. But
even just events, just party or corporate events, or
yeah. Well,
how do you get in those?
This event behind me here, because it's such a public event, it calls for so many people to be there. I don't know how many people are going to truly be there. So my cost to provide the extra foam, the big air arena there that I've created with the, the trussing, it costs money, setup time, breakdown, transportation, insurance. The insurance alone for an event for X amount of people is huge. So I make them pay for a rider for the extra cost of insurance. And I do make money off of that insurance a little bit to pay for my next following insurance, So, and for definitely some upgrades on the, on the units, because there is maintenance. I just factored into a certain percentage, and that's what the event is. I am increasing my rates for a 2-hour foam drop and a 4-hour. So you just have to ask for it. And then where you'll see so many people say no is because either they don't have it, but this is a specialty item. This is a specialty service. So I can charge that premium for that in my area, and it's a big area. I mean, I could cover just in an hour drive easily 60 miles, and that covers 5 to 6 counties. It's huge. So huge demographic change, many highways. I got 2 interstates and a parkway. So a lot of transportation woes and stuff for tolls and stuff, bridges.
Yeah, and that's part of it, is making sure that you have all that diversity in clientele, because like pointed out before, even your clientele is not the most, it has the most money, they may spend more money on you because you offer services other DJs don't offer, and they want to have a quality product. It's kind of like the people who spend money. Hey, I don't want to get a basic vehicle. I want to get something a little more luxurious because I want quality. I want to pay for that quality.
I'm definitely not the lowest, and I know I'm not the most expensive. I'm somewhere in that middle because I do put on a sound show. I put on quality service, and I have, shall I say, more than 2 decades of experience working with other companies that do higher end and lower end. We have that economic drive here to do it.
And I'm gonna go back to Sean real quickly with him with stuff. If you do corporate events, I know you do corporate events for not just your photo booth, but also sound stuff like that for corporate events. That's another area you've tapped into. Brentley, you do corporate events too? No, okay, you don't do corporate events.
Oh no.
No, okay.
For
That's another source right there. You're muted.
Oh, am I still muted?
Nope, no, you're unmuted now.
There we go. For corporate, you want to target the corporate event planners. It does you no good targeting specific venues when it comes to corporate. For those ones, you want to be targeting the planners who are specifically handling the corporate events. And it all comes down to being able to sell yourself to fit what their corporation is looking for. We're fortunate enough we got in really good with somebody who, they're actually based out of Washington, but they do corporate events all over the United States. We did some MC work for them. They're looking for a voice of God during their conference. Obviously sent them my demo tape. They went with me. And ever since then, it's led to more and more bookings for whenever they have a client looking for that type of work. And then once you can get in with that corporate planner for one thing, that's when you have the chance to start pitching your other services to them. So especially like for our photo booths, we do corporate branding on those. We create unique, one-of-a-kind experiences. We're not just going and dropping off a photo booth at a corporate event. We are making a unique experience for that company, for their brand, for whatever the event may be.
One of the things I know you do for your corporate clientele is that you'll get a custom backdrop and actually have vinyl put onto the photo booth for their company logo. And that's how you're not a $300 photo booth. You're much more than that. And this is one of the things if you want to target companies and clientele with deeper pockets, that's another thing you can do is offer that customization for, again, if you have a photo booth backdrop. Hey, you want it's Jennifer and Bill's wedding. You could have Jennifer and Bill's wedding in the background. It could be their selfie station. It could be the area when they first walk in, like, coming into a red carpet movie. Instead of saying the newest Hollywood movie, it says Jennifer and Tom. Whoever it is. I'm just throwing names out there. But it could have that red carpet feel when they walk into that wedding, if that client wants that. And if you can offer that, and if you can offer that kind of stuff, that really separates your business from some of the other businesses, because, hey, you know what? You want to have that area where people stop and take pictures and talk to the photographer and see if they can have another photographer set up there, a camera, and take professional pictures like it's the red carpet. And, talk to the videographer and maybe have video in there of them interviewing people as they're coming into the wedding. That's something right there, someone could want to have coming into their wedding, that red carpet feel where people are getting interviewed and they're coming in and they're getting all these pictures taken like any other Hollywood premiere. And that's another way of getting some more money.
Yeah, we actually do that at Night to Shine. There's a red carpet, and almost everyone feels special. Like, everybody claps for them. They get in the line on each side of the red carpet, and they feel special.
I seen a good quote from one of our photo booth mentors, and you don't want to be the one following the trends that everybody's doing, because by then those trends have been watered down. You want to be thinking of yourself, how you can start new trends and offer new things that nobody else is seeing. And that's how going to help you get into those events to be able to offer those ginormous contracts, to do those one-of-a-kind experiences that they can't get from other people.
And one of the things Crossfire is saying, he loves corporate and charity events. They love his LED 3-sided DJ booth, all animated. So he has one of the expensive booths that had the LED panels on all 3 sides, and that he can put on there. He can put a corporate logo on there. It's different than just having a TV in the front. He can actually have, the corporate logo on both the sides of his booth and the front of the booth. And even if he's not DJing, and that's the thing with corporate events, there may be a dance area, but sometimes it may be just people talking. They're sitting there, they're giving awards and stuff like that. You may have some music for dinner, and it's maybe very little dance music. It may be more just conversation, and it's a whole different realm of sound. You can't just put 2 speakers up and start scratching, because it doesn't work for that for a corporate event. They want to be able to talk. They want multiple microphones. They want to do a TED Talk or something like that. That right there is something to get into and talk to people. And if you want to get into that, I definitely recommend that right there. Start talking to people. And again, like Sean said, talk to corporate event planners, people who deal with corporations, if you want to crack that world. Because that right there, during the daytime, there's a lot of stuff going on, conferences and stuff that you can actually make some good money doing. It's a different realm than doing a wedding or a birthday party or bar mitzvah or a quinceanera, but still requires a lot of technology, because a lot of companies want to have that slick video screens. They want to have that, person walks out there, the CEO of the company has the Countryman microphone, and they're able to talk about the newest product launch of whatever they're launching. And that's the thing, is that the cool slick stuff like that you see sometimes, like with some of the big corporations that do that. If you can getting into that production in that area, it's not cheap to get into it, but you start getting into it, cracking that wall, you can make some money out of that, And
Another good one for corporations is interactive things. Corporations love more than just somebody DJing. If you can provide some type of interactive elements, like Corporate Feud, Jeopardy, we do Family Feud, games like that you can pitch to corporations. A lot of times they're looking for something more like that than necessarily a full-blown dance party.
Yep. And that's the thing, is that's another area you can tap into. You want to tap into a little bit more expensive clientele, is going to drop a little bit more money. You want to get into it, you can very easily, and it just takes a little bit of work. So like everything else, it always boils down to how much work you put into your business. The more work you put into your business, the more you're going to get out of it, and the more money you're going to make eventually. It just takes time and practice. And it's like everything else. There's so many needs for it, but sometimes you don't have all the time. But you have to put time into your business. If you're not putting time in your business, your business is going to stagnate and you're not going to get the clientele you want. And that's the hard part. I know it's always hard. It's easy to say that, and it's easy to say, hey, you know what, put more time in your business, but it does help. It does help. So you have to, make some time. Even if you're working full time and you have this as a part-time gig, make some time on the side and say, okay, fine, great. I need to spend 2 hours a day or an hour a day getting stuff ready for marketing. So with that said, we've already gone over our hour. As always, we appreciate you watching out there. Thank you for everyone talking in the chat. Thank you for everyone tuning in tonight. Again, I appreciate so much. And tonight, I'm actually going to have, let's see here. Who's going to take us out tonight? I'm going to have Dwayne take us out tonight because Dwayne hasn't done it in a bit. And I always like when Dwayne, I like when everyone does it. There's no one I like more than others. I love everyone equally. And it's always awesome when you have these people take it out.
Okay, buddy.
I love all my children. So Dwayne, please take me out, brother.
I hope you all enjoyed our show, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you here again on the DJ Roundtable at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Pacific, next
8 o'clock
Tuesday.
Central.
Also, Central, my fault. And then make sure to check out DJ Cool Things show on Mondays, then Sean's DJ Biz School on Wednesdays, and then our show, Cue It Up, on Thursdays at 9 o'clock on YouTube, and then at 7 o'clock, it's Sean's show on YouTube. All right, take care, and I'll see you all next week.
Yep, everyone have a good night. See you guys later.
Ow!